next right thing is really what helps to keep that at bay, because I've got 3 assignments to do, and I need to work on getting ready for a deposition for a client. And the next right thing is to work on those things and not to look at motorcycles online. When I start having thoughts like, hey, maybe I'm going to buy a motorcycle and disappear, I need to maybe pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, I'm thinking about maybe just disappearing from the world and not going to meetings anymore, not talking to my sponsor anymore, and just kind of like doing my own thing. They can say, hey, don't do that, and here's a good logical reason that you can't argue with. Why not?
With the ethanol or alcohol or drinking alcohol, only that dependency, I'm not expert. There's many other chemical dependencies of legal and illegal substances. Alcohol is an excellent solvent of flavor materials. Certain kind of solutions of flavors and fragrances taste good in alcoholic solution. This is the good part of the alcohol. But we don't know what makes an alcoholic be an alcoholic, and another person who has the same experience with trying alcohol, not an alcoholic. If somebody gets drunk here and there's binge drinking, that's not alcoholism. Might not function for that moment, but once it sobers up, it would function. The hypothesis is that there's some sort of genetic makeup that makes you an alcoholic, whether that's genetic or epigenetic, beyond genetic. The genetic or epigenetic makeup of a person, so far as a hypothesis knows, and maybe some influences, experiences in life, and the availability of alcohol that would make an alcoholic.
Basically, when I tried to stop, I couldn't. So that's when I knew I needed help. When I was drinking every day at work, whenever I had an opportunity to, I was not talking to my real friends anymore because they didn't want to hang out with me since I was using. It all happened when I flunked out of school, that I became a huge drinker, and I knew it was a big problem because, I used to just be stuck in the same routine that was just self-destructive, and now, I'm waking up every day early, determined to do things that are productive for, myself and my future. The fact that I was never able to drink again, I was pissed about, drinking at your wedding or your birthday. I haven't gone out really since I've been in AA because I don't think personally I'm ready for being around, my friends with drinking. I still find days where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get all these errands done, and then I'm going to go get a drink, and then I'm going to stop myself. I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't do that. It's all in your head. It's actually a disease that you cannot control. It's either genetic or, the chemistry just in your brain is a little different than everybody else's.
I've always had kind of an addictive personality. It started off with dinosaurs, army men. I was constantly obsessed with something, and then it would change into something else very rapidly. But my actual use kicked off, I think I was 12 or 13. I started smoking cigarettes and drinking. And at first it was just out of curiosity. I saw my dad's bottle and I was like, oh, I wonder what this tastes like. I was a kid. And realized that if I drank enough of it, it felt good. If I drank more, I could go to sleep easier. I wasn't so caught up in my thoughts all the time. And that very rapidly became an everyday habit. So it got worse and worse from there. I got arrested 4 times in the space of 3 months. Went to court for all of them. The final time I was in court, they told me to be evaluated for my treatment options. So I ended up in a rehab in Utah for 3 months in the wilderness. It's very intensive. I was woken up in my bed at 4 in the morning by 2 big ass dudes, 6'5", 300-pound dudes, who are escorts, and they said, put on some clothes, put on some shoes, we're going. And I said, where are we going? And my parents were at the door. They said, we love you, but you got to do this. We can't have you here. You're a danger to yourself and to us. They take you away, and you get on a plane in the middle of the night, and they drop you off in the middle of the wilderness in Utah with a backpack, a tarp, some food, you know, and then you're on your own with this group of, it's like 10 kids and then like 4 counselors. You hike like 5 miles a day with a 70-pound backpack. You learn how to make a fire with your bare hands. You sleep under a tarp that you like attach to trees and like, you make your own tent. It's crazy. It ended up being one of the best experiences of my life. It was fantastic. I learned so much about myself, you know, learned that I'm capable of doing things that I didn't think I was. I still got so much left that I can do. You know, I mean, I haven't even begun to start college. You know, I'm moving up in my job very rapidly. I'm currently like 2.5 years sober. When I first ended up living on my own in the city after I'd been sober a little bit and I decided not to go home, you know, I was freaked out. I thought I wasn't going to be able to make it. I was like, I wanted to run away. And I was like, I don't want to be sober. I don't want to do anything. I just want to like hide in my parents' basement, you know, safe place. Just forget about the world. But I'm getting better, you know, I got tools now. You know, instead of my vanilla extract, I have my sponsor. Instead of whiskey, I have my big book. You know, instead of smoking weed, I have prayer. It's like I just replaced my old drugs with, you know, new help. Yeah. It's my toolbox, you know. And that's what AA is, you know. It's like AA is Ace Hardware, and your sponsor is your hammer, and you go to AA to pick up your tools. And, you know, there's the whole scientific thing and like the doctor's opinion and all that stuff, but when it comes down to it, you know, like I'm allergic to alcohol. If I drink alcohol, I will die. Simple as that. My throat's not going to close up, I'm not going to swell up or anything, but I will die eventually.
This is Christian D. Hogan reporting for the Columbia Chronicle.